I'm Margaret Howell reporting for infowars.com. I'm joined now via Skype from Finland with Tina Viig. She resides in the northern part of Finland. We're going to be talking about the refugee crisis that is currently underway in her community. Tina, if you can just introduce yourself to our listeners, tell them what's going on the ground there for you.
Yeah, so I'm Tina Viig, and I'm a blogger and I cover these immigration issues because they are so undercovered in the media. And us in Finland, we've been getting a lot of these asylum seekers, especially in 2015 when we got 32,000 of them, which in a country of 5 million people is a huge number. And the asylum seeker numbers have gone down since, but of course we know that there are millions of people behind the Mediterranean who are waiting to get to Europe, so this isn't going away anytime soon. And there is basically nothing being done about it. Like there's a lot of discussion about how do we solve these problems of integration, about immigrant crime, but nothing is being done. And instead of focusing on the immigration issues, our government is focusing on hate speech and racism. And now they want tougher penalties for hate speech crimes. And that's basically all they are doing. The doors are still completely open. And of course, if we had followed the international contracts, there would be zero asylum seekers over here in Finland, because according to the Dublin Agreement, these asylum seekers have to stay in the first safe country. And we live over here up in the north, so they have to cross like a dozen safe countries on their way here.
Mm-hmm. So they're mass migrating to your small hometown in Finland. Tell me about the changes you're experiencing. You know, here at InfoWars, we've covered the rape crisis that's happened in Cologne, frankly, the New Year's Eve attacks. Countless stories, Tina, about, ridiculous criminal cases. They're never deported. Nothing ever happens. But in two of the interviews that I've done with people that are living abroad, they are censored, fined, and charged with hate speech for speaking out on the internet, even concern, even voicing a legitimate fear. It isn't hate speech to question what your government's doing. Just tell people a little bit about what you're experiencing on the ground. Any anecdotal things that you can mention for us here in the States?
Well, the street view of this town, it has completely changed. When I was a little girl, about 10 years old, I didn't have to think about safety when I came here for shopping or things like that. It didn't even cross my mind that something could happen. But nowadays, I really wonder, like, I wouldn't go to certain places in this town alone at night. There have been rapes, there have been abductions, there have been harassments against even schoolgirls. The asylum seekers, they are hanging out at public swimming pools, ogling at women all day long. And there have been attempted rapes in front of these swimming pools. So there is this entirely new atmosphere, and you can see it in the street view that the amount of immigrants, it has risen so much that it's impossible to go to the center of Oulu without being faced with tons of African and Middle Eastern people.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the refugee population, because we've covered here on InfoWars that they're in fact militant men of military age. They're not the women and some are women and children, but for the majority, there's been a mass influx of military-aged men from predominantly places where there would be a hostility, places where there's an agenda. Is that what you found to be true?
Exactly true. Like when the refugee crisis started, our politicians told us that it's a fairy tale that ISIS fighters would infiltrate our country among these asylum seekers. But now...
Wait, hold on a second. They told you that ISIS would infiltrate with the asylum seekers?
It wouldn't.
And, okay.
It's a fairy tale that
they assured you that wouldn't happen. Okay.
Yes, and now we have 2 Iraqi asylum seekers who are on trial for taking part in the Camp Speicher massacre. Oh. They murdered 11 people while they were fighting for ISIS. So they murdered 11 helpless Iraqi prisoners. And now they are on trial in Finland for it. And they came over here as asylum seekers.
You know, Trump in the States has received an insane amount of backlash for putting a moratorium, a ban, if you will. It's not really a ban, a moratorium on people coming from radical Islamic nations that are hotbeds for terrorism. He's received a lot of flack from that. Do you support our president's policy on that? And if so, can you explain for people why that might be a good idea if you do in fact support it?
I absolutely support it. And it's common sense. If you or I would go to Iraq or to Syria and walk on streets, we wouldn't be safe. Those people around us there wouldn't be safe to us. So they don't become any safer if they cross the border over here. They don't become any more respectful of women. They don't become any less violent. And these people, they harbor a great deal of hatred against the Westerners and against Jews, against Christians. So it's natural that there will be clashes if these people are let in. And of course, I'm not saying all of them are like that. Most of them are good people, but there are enough of the troublemakers in there to make it too big a risk for us. We can't take that chance. No, not a single one of our citizens deserves to die because of getting a better standard of living for these Middle Eastern people. Mm-hmm. It's just a too high a price.
Mm-hmm. I noticed your refugee parody on Twitter, and you write a lot about this. And I personally, it's very interesting to me as an American looking at it, because honestly, the coverage does not exist, Tina. Here, we don't talk about it. We're few and far between in terms of news organizations that actually bring people the truth about the mass migration crisis that's underway. We're called racist and bigots and you name it, we're called it. But we really want to give people the truth. And something that President Trump said today in U.S. media, he said that terrorism is underreported. The media is intentionally not reporting it. And coming from a place where I would cover terror attacks as a part of my last job and understanding that they are so frequent, can you lay out for people what's happening even in acts of domestic terrorism where it's not necessarily, there are lots of attempts going on and it's stemming from a mass migrant population flooding an area. Have you seen anything like that? I'm pointing specifically to the video with the bats and the car, and it looked like anybody driving along a Finnish highway or a Finnish road was going to be assaulted. That's an act of terrorism, frankly. Can you lay the groundwork for people and just explain what's going on with that?
And that's something nobody really has the full picture of, not even any of the activists who follow these things very closely, because the statistics aren't published. You have to dig every little piece of information out by yourself. And the media, if they cover these kinds of crimes, they always leave out the background of the assailants. They don't mention that they are asylum seekers or that they are of foreign background. So you have to do a lot of digging to get to this information. And I've always said it that it's not even the terrorism or the Cologne-style mass harassments that are the problem, because those are single incidents that don't happen that often. But it's that everyday crime, that what you saw on the video from Forza. The police patrols having to go to these asylum seeker housing centers 24/7, several times a day, because they fight amongst themselves. There are rapes, there are child molestations, they stab each other even. And when they are out on the streets, they harass local women, they even rape local women. There was one case of a teenage asylum seeker who had only been in the country for 8 days when he raped a 14-year-old Christian girl in a town nearby. So these people, they are causing this everyday trouble that doesn't reach international news. And that's the thing that affects normal people's lives the most. It's not the terrorism that happens once in a while. It's this everyday chaos these people bring with them.
Do you feel like your government is telling you to stand down, to not question it, to not even, I was looking at your hate speech parody, even speaking out against it, you could be put into jail for talking about it. Is that correct? Depending on how far you go.
Yes, it's completely correct. But the charges are often very arbitrary. That there's a lot of real hate speech, like saying that people there should be a genocide of certain people. And those people who write that stuff, they don't get prosecuted. But if you're a politician, if you're a famous person, then you are in chance of getting prosecuted because you have too much influence. So it's used as a political weapon to silence those who are becoming too dangerous to the system, those who have too much listeners who take them seriously. Mm-hmm.
I noticed, and we're running out of time here. I can't say thank you enough, first of all, for joining me. But I just noticed the Trump support, and you talk about this specific background that you come from. Do you want to see something like that in Finland, or do you feel like it's almost too late, like the floodgates are open, so to speak, where we sort of dodged a bullet in terms of this issue here?
Over here in Finland, it's not too late yet. We aren't at that stage of Sweden or Germany yet. We don't have that much immigration and Islamization over here, so we can put a stop to this. And I'm hoping this change will happen over here. We need a Trump of our own here too.
Thank you so much for joining me. That's going to do it for us for tonight. If you like reports like this, click the subscribe button, youtube.com/Alex Jones. Also, check out our website, infowars.com. I'm Margaret Howell reporting.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at infowars.com/app. If you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.